Thomas and Frank's big day out. Thomas is a tank engine. And it was very sunny out that morning. Thomas was to take a load of stone and pilings to the narrow gauge railway. He puffed past his new friends. Thomas steamed into the narrow gauge railway. "Hello, Freddie," he said. All the narrow gauge engines were very happy and excited, except for one. His name was Frank. He was new. And he needed to be taken to the repairer's yard. Thomas knew that something was wrong and decided to chuff over. "Hello, I'm Thomas. Who are you?" "I'm Frank," replied Frank. "I need to be taken to the repairer's yard," said Frank. "Maybe I can take you. It's just over Gordon's Hill, past the Sodor Suspension Bridge, and just through Knapford." "What a splendid idea, Thomas," said Mr. Percival. "Do it right away." And Frank was on Thomas's low loader. They went along their way. Thomas decided that going to the repairer's yard was no fun, so he decided to give Frank a big day out. "This will be your big day out," puffed Thomas. Frank was excited. They went up a big hill. "This isn't no fun at all," said Frank. "Don't worry, when we get to the suspension bridge, you'll be very excited." Going over Sodor Suspension Bridge wasn't no fun either. Thomas was running out of ideas. He didn't know where to take Frank. So he tried elsewhere. "We shall head through Knapford next," whistled Thomas. Frank thought that would be exciting. However, much to Thomas's surprise, Frank didn't like this either. "We have big stations like this in the hills as well." "Weird how I've never seen it," puffed Thomas. "You're not a narrow gauge engine," joked Frank. "We must head up Gordon's Hill once again," puffed Thomas. Thomas took Frank up Gordon's Hill. Then there was trouble. The rusty coupling broke. Frank went one way and Thomas shot the other. Frank neared an old siding. "Help!" wailed Frank. "Whoa, whoa!" And he derailed. "Oh no!" cried Thomas as he reversed down the hill. "I've made a terrible mistake," he cried. "I'm sorry, Frank," said Thomas. "I wanted to give you a big day out. I wanted to show you sights of Sodor that you've never seen in the hills." "But I have seen these sights in the hills," said Frank. "We have Crovan's Gate Station. We have the big suspension bridge, and we have a huge hill." "Oh," said Thomas, "this is all my fault," he whistled. "Please, I will try to get you to the mender's yard as quickly as possible. And I know the quickest way," he said. "Please hurry and get me there." "I want to get back to the narrow gauge railway at once," said Frank. Frank was levered back onto the tracks. Thomas backed into Frank. He was soon coupled back up to him. "We must go past the sea track," puffed Thomas. "It's the fastest route." So Thomas quickly took Frank up the hill again. Thomas saw Frida steaming along the line. They were nearing the seaside. Gordon had just left passengers at the seaside. When Thomas arrived, he and Frank could see lots of happy children, mothers and fathers, and children riding donkeys. Lots of families are having a wonderful time. "Wow," said Frank. "This looks wonderful, Thomas," he said. "Well," puffed Thomas, I didn't think you guys didn't have a seaside. I thought because you guys had hills and everything in the narrow gauge railway, you would have a seaside." "Well, if you just listen," puffed Frank, "you'd know." Thomas laughed. Then he suddenly remembered. "The mender's yard," he said. The signal dropped green, and Thomas sped along the rails with Frank. "We can stop back later," added Thomas. Thomas and Frank hurried to the mender's yard. At the mender's yard, Frank was repaired. Frank loved the repairer's yard. And Thomas enjoyed it too. When Frank was soon finished being repaired, they headed off back to the seaside. Thomas and Frank arrived at the seaside. It was a very splendid time. Thomas and Frank enjoyed themselves.